Public concern has arisen that our Great Lakes water may be pipelined to the western regions of our country for agriculture.
This idea may seem far-fetched, but an example from the Aral Sea located near Uzbekistan during the 1960s proves that this is possible, as well as many politicians that are still arguing to try to divert our Great Lakes water for agriculture and other locations.
Most of these radical requests have been denied, especially requests from areas outside of the Great Lakes water basin that are asking to divert water to their locations. The three most recent requests were from Racine, New Berlin, and Waukesha. Racine and New Berlin's requests were accepted, however Waukesha's was denied. This is because Waukesha already has a viable and sustainable alternative water supply, therefore they don't need Great Lakes water in order to survive. This was not the case for New Berlin, however, because a lot of New Berlin's groundwater wells that produced drinking water for their local residents had high levels of radium, therefore they needed Great Lakes water in order to stay safe and healthy. Racine's request was accepted because the water they are diverting will be for public use and will also be for the future site of the Foxconn facility, which is a multinational electronics company which can bring great business to the Wisconsin people. Also, all of the water that is being diverted is promised to be returned back to the Great Lakes and back to the Great Lakes in a clean condition as well.
The Aral Sea is fed by two rivers, the Amu Darya and the Stir Darya rivers, respectively reaching the sea through the south and the north. During the 1960s, the Soviet Union decided to divert those rivers so that they could irrigate the nearby regions surrounding the sea in order to favor agriculture rather than to supply the Aral Sea basin. The canals that were channelized to provide this water for agriculture were ineffective and lost up to 75% of the water that flowed through. Before the canals were channelized, the evaporation in this hot and arid climate matched the rate in which water would enter the sea. But after the canals were channelized and the sea was only receiving a fifth of the water that it used to be getting, evaporation continued at its regular pace, and the water level of the Aral Sea slowly started to diminish, as well as the salinity started to increase. The high salinity of the water was inadequate for proper living conditions for fish, so many of the fish that were reintroduced in the sea during the 1990s ended up dying very soon. The increased climate, as well as the loss of a critically needed food source provided by the Aral Sea, forced many of the people living in the surrounding areas to leave to try to find a new place to live. The Aral Sea region is still suffering consequences from the mistake they made so long ago, which is why we cannot let this mistake happen at our home front.
Fortunately, the Department of Natural Resources, as well as the Great Lakes Compact, have put in place laws to ensure this will not happen. We can't take for granted our easy accessibility to the Great Lakes.
Because in respect to surface freshwater, what we have is practically liquid gold.